stop and search hit rates, success rates have varied. They have generally been low, but you do get some police officers that have an exceptionally high rate because they are much more experienced, and they will be able to use their skills, their policing skills, to be able to be more specific about who they stop and search. And remember, stop and search are two different things. You don't necessarily have to search.
But it's incredulous that 3/4 doesn't lead anywhere. And then when the funnel is looked at even further, only 10% ever leads to an arrest. And then only at most 2% leads to somebody being charged, which means that 98% of cases go nowhere. That's an incredibly poor data for something that's an intelligence-led policing tool.
Yeah, I mean, what would happen is, even when you don't have an arrest, as you said, you have to record it, and when it's recorded, that information is then used in intelligence. And so, there'll be individuals I've searched, and I know that they are the intelligence I have from what I've seen and doing. I'm fairly confident that they have something on them, but at that moment they didn't. So that information you gather. So when you talk about 98%, that information it's still gathered, it's still recorded, and helps to build up an accurate picture of a particular area.
How much is it time to look at the way that the police carry out stop and search because the success rate is so low?
I think there is a crisis at the moment in terms of confidence in stop and search, and I think that's a challenge. I think it's a valuable tool, but unless it's used effectively, and unless it's used in a responsible manner, there is a difficulty that people will continue to lose confidence. The one area of stop and search that I do have significant challenges with is the move away from Section 1, which is very, very specific, very much targeted on, we believe that this person has got this item in this area on their person, to a greater use of Section. And I think it makes headlines, political headlines. We're going to search more people, but there's two things wrong with that. One is you risk going back to the days of lack of confidence, more confidence. But the second one, you still need boots on the streets. It's all very well saying we're going to do all of these searching, but where are the police officers that are going to be able to do it? And over the last 15 years, we have lost 22,000 police officers and 18,000 police staff. So those police staff are very important because they're the kind of individuals that would analyse the information that comes in from the stop and searches and give police officers an indication of who the key people are who are potentially committing crime.
So in terms of
more worries about the Section 60 than the Section 1, because it effectively says, right, an inspector will say, right, we are going to search, we're going to have power to search anybody in sort of the northeast of Birmingham or in a borough. It's a huge power, and I think police need to be very, very conscious that certain sections of the community continue to have less confidence than other sections.
What would you say to the Home Secretary in terms of Section 60?
I think she needs to revisit this position that she's taken. It comes from somebody who's never had practical policing experience. And quite frankly, I'm not entirely sure it's going to make a great deal of difference because you still need the numbers, you still need the boots on the street to be able to do it. And when you've had that 22,000 cut in police officers, where are these police officers suddenly going to appear from? I speak to a lot of my former colleagues, and they are really desperately trying to keep on top of everything they're doing without actually being given this extra power. I think it's more political than a reality, because even if you say we're going to search everybody on the east side of Leicester, you still need the police officers. You still need people who've got the experience, who understand what to do, and that's not. There's not necessarily that many police officers that are available to do that.
Can we talk about the lack of confidence? If you have more and more people stopped and searched, especially black minority ethnics, and the analysis that we've got from open source data suggests that in pandemic year, it's gone up, stop and search has gone up by 18%. And yet, when it comes to South Asians, that is rocketed to 48%. How much will that harm the relationship between the police and the South Asian communities?
Well, I mean, that statistic, and I don't know the details, but that statistic you've shared is troubling. And I think if you look at the confidence level of white people compared to South Asian people, compared to black people in policing, there is a significant gap. So I think what we need to be looking at is why has that gap existed for so long, for as long as it's been measured. White people are much more confident in the police than South Asian people are than black